All right, everyone. Good morning. Happy Saturday. So I remember in the first few years of my starting to practice yoga, I would sit in a yoga class towards the back, and they would begin to offer instruction to go into things like arm balances, like crow pose, or headstand, like inversions. And I would just sit, laugh to myself, and say, haha, yeah, that's not for me. Have you ever surpassed the limits of what you think that you can do? And if so, what took you to that point of believing that something was possible? There's a great quote by the late Wayne Dyer that I love, and he said, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. In the Yoga Sutras, book 4, number 15, there's a translation by Jivamukti Yoga, and it says, each individual person perceives the same object in a different way, according to their own state of mind and projections. Everything is empty from its own side and appears according to how you see it. And then I want to end with this quote by Joe Dispenza. He's very much into quantum physics and rewiring your brain. And in his writing called You Are the Placebo, Making Your Mind Matter, he says, your thoughts and feelings come from your past memories. If you think and feel a certain way, you begin to create an attitude. An attitude is a cycle of short-term thoughts and feelings, experienced over and over again. Attitudes are shortened states of being. If you string a series of attitudes together, you create a belief. Beliefs are more elongated states of being and tend to become subconscious. When you add beliefs together, you create a perception. Your perceptions have everything to do with the choices you make, the behaviors you exhibit, the relationships you chose, and the realities you create. So after years of more consistently practicing yoga, not just the physical practice, but we know that there are 8 limbs, including meditation, I became more open to, well, let's just see what happens if I place my hands in the ground and start to lift my legs up and follow those directions that teacher is giving. I became more open-minded with no expectation or ambition to achieve a specific pose. But over time, as I learned about my own strength, willpower, and ability to see beyond what I thought was my boundary, then things began to open up. Things began to change. And as one teacher once put it, what you do on the yoga mat or what you do in your sun salutations is very parallel to what you do in other areas in your life, how you approach it. So as we practice flexibility in our bodies, even expanding our breaths beyond the capacity right now, how might we do the same for the mind? So find a comfortable seat. Ground to your left and right sitting bones. Really feel what you are sitting on. And as you press into that support with a feeling of trust, feel the blossoming of confidence as you uplift your spine and broaden your chest, lifting your heart space, lifting up through the crown of your head. Observe your inner states of being. Emptying this breath out, or inhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath in, relaxing the body, sitting tall. Then through your mouth, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath out, still relaxing the body. Again, inhale into the belly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in. Exhale through the mouth, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it out. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it in. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. You might join the palms together at your heart in this gesture of uniting inner and outer being as you set an intention or a dedication for your practice today. Let's open the space using our voices, feeling the resonance as we both give and receive it of the chant of Om, the sound that reminds us of how we're all interconnected. Take a deep belly breath. Then close the lips. Breathe in slowly to fill up your belly and lungs. Breathing out through the nose, equal in length. Beginning Bhastrika Pranayama, an enlivening and mind-calming breath work. Here's a quick demonstration. We start with the elbows bent apart and hands like fists. The eyes are closed the whole time, the mouth is closed too, and you're using the diaphragm to fully breathe into your belly and lungs and exhale completely through the nose. When you inhale, you raise the arms up, spread the fingers wide, and as you exhale, you rebend the elbows and refist the hands, and it's rhythmic like this. All the while sitting tall, keeping the shoulders relaxed. So if you want to give it a try, I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. Prepare by bending your elbows apart, closing the eyes. Ready? Begin. And relax. Continue to breathe through your nose. Observe the effects of that breath work. And then slow the breath down as you softly narrow the back of your throat, now cultivating Ujjayi Pranayama, or victorious breath. So that soft whisper as you breathe in and out gifts the mind something to steady its awareness on. And as you continue tuning into your breath, softly open your eyes if they're closed, and let's lie down on the back for a brief moment. And as you're lying down, bend your right knee into your chest, straighten the left leg forward, and relax both shoulders onto the ground away from the neck while circling your right foot, pointing and flexing the toes, stretching into the ankle, all the little muscles of the foot, the calf, the shin. And then switch, lower the right leg straight, hug the left thigh into your chest, circle your left foot. Try to draw that left outer hip forward so that you're evenly lengthening the left and right sides of your torso, as well as your neck. A few more movements in your left foot. Slow, steady breaths through the nose. Then from here, bend both knees and allow them to stack directly above your hips. Parallel your shins, legs are about hips width apart, and then flex your feet, spread the toes towards your knees. Feel the fronts of your thighs engage as you press your hands onto your lap as though you were sitting in a chair. Continue to draw the shoulders downward onto the earth, lengthening the neck naturally. Now, as you begin to more actively press your thighs forward, press the thighs back into your hands at the same time. So visibly, nothing moves, but energetically, you feel an activation in your transverse abdominis, that deep lower belly muscle. And with that activation, steadying the breath, you also lengthen the lower back ever so slightly by elongating the tailbone forward towards the front edge of your mat. Continue breathing here, in through the nose, out through the nose. You've got 20 more seconds. Firming your palms against the tops of your thighs. As your thighs firm back against your palms, feel an enlivening at your abdomen, especially the lower belly. We're going to use that feeling of the lower belly in just a moment in a different context. So maintain an imprint of this sensation. One more deep breath. Nice, and then draw your knees into your chest and begin to rock forward and back a few times to build momentum so that you can come forward onto all fours, hands and knees. Stacking your shoulders right above the wrist, point the index fingers forward parallel to each other. Stack your hips above your knees, and now recreate that feeling in your abdomen, as though you're pressing the thighs away and the thighs are resisting, so you feel the lower belly engaged. Now broaden the shoulder blades apart into a slight protraction. Look in front of your hands in the ground and naturally lengthen your neck, pressing the shoulders back. So in these activations, you're now in plank pose with the support of your knees. Keep lifting the lower belly, keep elongating through the crown of your head, and with an exhale, glide forward as far as you can, not letting the belly collapse. Bend your elbows back just 90 degrees to hug your side ribs and pause, and you're in another pose called four-limb staff, or in Sanskrit, Chaturanga Dandasana. Keep spreading the shoulder blades apart. Inhale here, engage the belly even more as you exhale to push up, then glide back to stack your shoulders over your wrists. Basically, you did a yoga push-up, and we're gonna do 3 more of those. So if you wanna stay on your knees, great. If you wanna add straightening the legs, continue the line from the top of the head, tailbone to heels, firming the heels back. Inhale in your plank pose, keeping the belly lifted, the shoulder blades spread. Exhale, glide forward and lower halfway, bending the elbows 90 degrees to stack over the wrists. Inhale there without shrugging the shoulders or squeezing the shoulder blades together. Then engage the belly to exhale, push up, gliding back to plank. You can always lower the knees and rest whenever you need. So take 2 more on your own. Inhale and plank. Exhale, glide forward and down. Inhale, pause. Feel the alignment space in the neck. Exhale, lift up and glide back. Last one. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Spreading the thumbs wide towards each other. Ground firmly between your index fingers and thumbs. Then bend your knees generously and see how high you can lift your tailbone while pulling your sitting bones back towards your rear wall, dropping your head. Softly move the head around and make sure the neck is completely relaxed as well as your jaw. And as you continue to lift the hips and draw your weight towards your rear wall, rotate the outer upper arms or your triceps towards the floor, continuing to protract the shoulder blades. Press your chest slightly back towards your thighs and firm your belly inward towards your spine. Now at the very tops of your thighs, the fronts of your thighs, like near the creases of your hips, press those back too and begin to shift more weight towards your heels. Whether or not they touch the ground doesn't matter. Whether or not you keep the knees bent, find the most length in the spine. And let's take 3 more deep breaths here. In Adho Mukha Svanasana. On your next in-breath, glide forward into your choice of plank pose. Remember that imprint in the belly, engaging the transverse abdominis. Take it with you and exhale, glide forward through Chaturanga Dandasana. Then see if you can lower chest and belly at the same time. Reach the hands behind your lower back to interlace the fingers, pointing the toes so your ankles are hips width apart.
Firm down through the tops of your feet and your toenails so much that your knees are not actually touching the floor, but your pubic bone is. As you hug the elbows closer together, broaden your collarbones apart. And with an in-breath, contract your upper back just under the shoulder blades to lift the heart. And then take about 3 more breaths looking down ahead of you so as to lengthen the back of your neck as the knuckles of your hands reach towards your heels. Feel a sense of buoyancy at the center of your chest, but at the same time, a groundedness through your legs and tops of your feet. Recreate those 2 things, that buoyancy at the heart, that groundedness through the legs and feet, and enter either cobra or upward facing dog with your wrists alongside your floating ribs. Contract your belly to lift your hips up and back to downward facing. Walk your hands towards your feet, folding over your legs at the rear of your mat. Paralleling your feet apart at least hips distance. Bend your knees as much as needed and lift your toes, slipping your palms face up under the soles of your feet to stretch your outer wrists and forearms in Padahastasana. As you inhale, imagine as though you're pressing your heart through the gates of your arms, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hinge from your hips, completely drop your skull, shake it out softly, and fold. Let's try twice more. Inhale, shift more weight forward, press your heart through the gates of your arms. Exhale, bow in towards the earth, letting the head drop. Last one, inhale, lift the chest and Ardha Uttanasana. Feel the sides of your neck and waist grow long. Keep those lengths and exhale to bow in. Now, as we hold for a few breaths, you might like to move the head a little bit more, but at the same time, float your shoulder bones up away from your neck. It can help to bend the elbows apart, pulling yourself in as your sitting bones rise. Remember, knees can be as bent as necessary to eliminate strain in the back. Deep breath in, fill up the belly, fill up the 4 walls of your rib cage. Slow exhalation, whispering out to your nose. Now slip the hands out from underneath. Crawl your fingertips onto the floor ahead or your shins. Breathing in, lift the chest again to Ardha Uttanasana. Stay here, bend the knees, and exhale, place your hands on your hips. Point the elbows up, lead with your chest as you firm the belly. Inhale to rise slowly into mountain pose, Tadasana. Inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze at your palms touching. Exhale, fold forward. Press the ground of your legs. Inhale, lengthen halfway up. Engage and take that with you to plank. Inhale and plank. Feel Chaturanga Dandasana as you lower forward and down, and choose. Go all the way down for Cobra, the toes, and come into upward facing dog as you breathe in. Engage your belly to help you lift your pelvis. Draw your weight towards your rear edge of your mat, downward facing dog. Let's take about 3 slow breaths through the nose here. Bending your knees, lift your heels and hips high, look beyond where you want to land your feet at the top of your mat. At the end of your exhale, think of lifting your pelvic floor as you engage the belly to lightly land forward. Breathe in to lengthen the spine, halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Firming down through your feet, inhale, sweep the arms like wings expanding as you rise. Let the palms meet and exhale. Bring your hands together at your heart. Twice more, sun salutation A. Inhale, circle the arms overhead. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, offer your heart forward. Strong at your center, walk to plank or float to Chaturanga. Breathing into your choice of Cobra or upward facing dog. Engage the belly to lift the hips back to downward facing dog. Holding stillness there to hold space and become more observant of subtleties. Now with very bent knees, look ahead of where you want to land. Lift the pelvic floor when you exhale. Walk or float to the top. Breathe in to lengthen forward. Breathe out to fold. Root down to rise up. Exhale, heart. One more inhale, sweep your arms. Exhale, dive in. Inhale, expand your heart forward. Float to chaturanga or step through plank. Keep going at your pace of breath through your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, bring your feet to touch. Then inhale, raise the right leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the right knee and turn open at the hip. Now you can rotate the right leg a few times, just warming up the hip joint some more. Or you could simply start to lift the right knee a little higher if you can, widening the space between your inner thighs. All the while, pay attention to equally lengthening both sides of your neck and torso. You're firming down evenly through both hands, relaxing the neck and drawing your left outer hip back. Now turning your right outer hip to face the ground, straighten the right leg behind you and square the hips, flex the foot, breathe in. As you exhale, come forward to plank, crossing the right knee to tap your left elbow or outer upper arm, keeping the shoulders balanced. Inhale, re-extend the right leg behind you. Then exhale, open the thigh and tap your right outer upper arm, coming forward to stack shoulders over wrists. Inhale, re-extend the right leg. This time through center, bend the right knee towards your nose, round the spine, and softly land the foot directly between your hands for Warrior Two. Spin the back heel down, but turn the toes slightly to face forward, and align your right heel to the arch of your left foot. Cartwheel the arms apart to rise. And let's be still as you make adjustments in your body as necessary through your mind's eye. Feel your right outer hip rotating slightly underneath your body, turning out the right thigh, aligning the middle of your right kneecap with your right middle toe down the midline of your mat, bending the front knee, perhaps towards a right angle on top of that heel. Feel your left top of the thigh firming back towards the right wide width of your mat, allowing balance of your left and right hips so that the bowl shape of your pelvis feels like it's sitting upright. Trace your awareness from the base of your spine. Imagine starting the next inhale from there and allowing the breath to rise up through the ladder of each vertebra, lifting your crown, and as you exhale, back down, softening the shoulder blades downward, elongating the tailbone towards the earth. 3 more breaths. Steady your eyes, just past your right hand or close them. Now firming downward through the big toe mount of your right foot and the outside edge of your left foot, engage the front muscles of your thighs, your quadriceps as you straighten the right leg for triangle. For a slightly shorter stance, your edge of your mat, hand beyond your right knee before lowering it, either onto your right leg or just to the right of your leg, perhaps block, where arm and leg can firm again. Continue to rotate under your body, your torso, by pressing the crease of your right hip. And as your outer left foot firms into the earth, side and forward through the top of your head. As you raise the left arm, from helping you to lighten the weight from your right hand while turning the middle of your chest to slightly face the sky. Last 3 breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. foot and frame it with your two hands and step into plank. Pause in plank and see where your wrists are. Without wavering your left and right hips, lower your elbows in place of your wrists. Forearm plank. Feel a slight lift of your navel. Broaden the chest forward. Slide the shoulder blades slightly apart and away from your neck as you look ahead of the ground beneath you. Just 2 breaths. Firm the heels back, engage the fronts of the thighs. Think of a straight line from top of the head, tailbone to heels. Exhale, slowly lower your pelvis and broaden the chest up, Sphinx pose. Then slide your hands back alongside your floating ribs, tuck your toes. With an exhale, press up into your version of plank. Lift the pelvis back to downward facing dog. Bring your feet to touch in downward dog. Then inhale, raise the left leg. Exhaling, bend the left knee and turn open at the hip, in which you could splay the inner thighs apart slowly or rotate the left leg a few times. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel the free flow of life force through your breath. Even weight through both hands. Draw the right hip back. Relax the neck. Now turning the left outer hip to face the ground, straighten the left leg and flex the foot. Take a breath in. Looking forward, cross the left knee to tap your right elbow or tricep, twisting at your waist. Keep your 2 shoulders balanced. Inhale, re-extend the left leg to 3-legged dog. Exhale, open the thigh and tap left knee to left tricep, outer elbow. Inhale, raise the left leg again. Exhale through center, round forward, bending the knee towards your nose. Softly land the foot directly between your hands. Spinning the right heel down, let your right toes slightly to face forward as you align left heel to arch your right foot. Firming down to both feet, cartwheel your arms and rise up. Warrior 2. So right away, hold still, steady your gaze on one spot, either just past the left hand or eyes closed, and feel any adjustments you might need to make through your mind's eye. Wrap the left outer hip slightly under your body, allowing the left thigh to completely turn out so that the middle of your left kneecap aligns with your middle left toe down the midline of your mat. As you bend the front knee right on top of the ankle, perhaps 90 degrees. Firm the top of your right thigh bone back towards the left wide width of your mat and feel the pelvic bowl orient to upright. With your next in-breath, visualize inhaling from the bottom of your spine slowly up to create space. Lifting through the crown, and as you exhale, relax the tops of the shoulders down. Anchor the tailbone towards the earth. Last 3 breaths here in Virabhadrasana 2. Firming down through the big toe mound of your left foot and the outside edge of your right foot, straighten the left leg to prepare for triangle. You might choose to slightly shorten your stance. Engage your quadriceps and glide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat while reaching your left hand past your left knee, then lowering it onto your leg or just to the left of your leg, pressing arm and leg against each other. Now continue to wrap your left outer hip slightly under your body, pressing the crease of your left hip back toward your outer right foot. As you firm your outer right foot to the earth, rebound a lift and lengthening up your right leg, up your spine from tailbone to crown, while relaxing the shoulder blades down the back. Turning the middle of your chest slightly to face the sky. 3 last breaths here in Utthita Trikonasana. Look down at your left foot and frame it with your 2 hands, stepping into your version of plank. We're going to change this up. Without wavering your hips again, lower into forearm plank. Hug your outer hips towards your midline, like you're balancing a book across your lower back. Gaze forward between the thumbs and broaden the chest. Separate the shoulder blades. Firm the lower belly. Now bring your feet to touch. Keeping the two hips balanced, flex your right foot off the floor just about an inch or two. Not too high. Keep lifting the lower belly. Keep broadening the chest forward. Smile. Notice how that can change how something feels. How that can affect perception. Keep the hips balanced. Lower the right toes and flex the left foot off the floor about 2 inches. Elongate your tailbone towards your inner left heel. Elongate your sternum towards your front wall. How's the breath? Lower the left toes and begin to walk your feet forward, coming into dolphin pose. Maybe you're here for one breath and you rest pose. 10. A good balance of effort and ease as you tune into the quality of your breath. Notice that your elbows remain exactly shoulders width apart and you're pressing your chest towards your shins, lifting the shoulders away from the neck. Either look forward or let the head fall, bearing no weight on your head. Now, whether you rest in child's pose for a few breaths, or you press the hands into the floor and try to simultaneously lift both elbows, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Downward dog. Yes. Bending your knees here, look beyond where you want to land your feet at the top of your mat. Lift your pelvic floor, holding the breath out, and softly land your feet there to touch. Breathe in to lengthen forward. Breathe out to fold. With knees touching, sink your weight towards your heels, inhaling into chair pose. We're going to take one fluid, breath-led movement through sun salutation B. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise halfway up, step to plank, float to chaturanga, or take a cat-cow instead. Move to your own vinyasa at your pace of breath. Meeting in downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg back, squaring your hips. Exhale, engage the belly and lightly step the foot forward inside of the right hand. Drop the back heel, face forward and inhale, rise up. Warrior one. Then exhale, ride the wave down into your vinyasa. Follow your pace of breath. Back to downward facing dog. Once there, inhale, raise the left leg, squaring your hips. Exhale, lightly lift the foot inside of your left hand, spinning the right heel down. Face forward and inhale, rise. Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale all the way down to flow, or perhaps you hold plank or go straight to downward dog. Once in downward dog, 3 to 5 slow breaths in stillness. With very bent knees, look ahead of your hands. Softly land your feet to touch at the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. If you have a strap, any tightness in the shoulders, grab it. Bend the knees, inhale, chair. Exhale to rise up. So now standing at the top of your mat, you may want to have a block to the left of your feet or on both sides. Separate the feet hips width apart. Then step your left foot back 2/3 as far as your warrior one, where both hips are on the floor, both hips are forward, both legs are straight. Raising your left arm, hold the strap so it hangs behind you if you're using one. Wrap your left tricep forward and press the shoulder blade down. Bending the elbow behind the back of your head, land your left palm between your shoulder blades. You could catch hold of your shirt there if you don't have a strap. Reach your hand underneath from behind, catch hold of the other end of the strap or your shirt, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Perhaps they clasp. Then firm in the belly, firm down through spread toes, And lift your chest as you breathe in. Elongate your chest forward as you exhale. Begin to fold. Pausing as you inhale to draw the right hip back if it starts to come forward so the hips stay balanced. And folding as you exhale to the range where you could still maintain the natural space between chin and chest. Feel the support of your back leg as you root the heel into the earth. Last 2 breaths here in Utthita Parshvattanasana, pyramid pose. Keep flexing the fronts of your thighs, offering support for your hamstrings. Now inhale, lift the spine parallel to the floor. We're going to enter a twist in triangle. Lower the left hand either on the left side of your right foot. If you want a deeper twist, lower it on the right side of your right foot. And use your right thumb to hook the crease of your right outer hip back. Again, to adjust your hips squared from down through both feet. And elongate your spine forward down the center line of your mat, keeping the shoulders relaxed. Focus the twist at your waistline so the pelvis remains balanced as you rotate your rib cage to face the right. Perhaps raising the right arm so the palm faces the right wall. Use the lift of the right fingertips, again like you're pulling a strap from the sky, to help broaden your chest and perhaps lighten the weight from your left hand. Last 2 breaths here in revolved triangle pose. Parita Trikonasana. Now look down at your right foot. Lower your 2 hands either on blocks or the floor, about a foot in front of your right toes. We're going to enter modified warrior 3. So shift forward, keep your 2 hips balanced. You could bend the right knee to help do that and flex your left foot. Think about spiraling your inner left thigh slightly towards the sky to help square the hips. Remember the contraction of the lower belly we practiced lying down in the beginning. Find that here and grow your chest forward, looking at the floor in front of you rather than right beneath you. Take another in-breath, lift the chest forward, pressing the heart through the gates of your arms, standing splits as you continue to lift from your inner left thigh and flex the left foot, bow towards your right leg. Doesn't matter how high you're lifting your left leg, but it is important to keep your 2 hips balanced. Think of tacking the right hip back. You could play with holding onto your right calf with your right hand or 2 hands. You want to play with your balance some more. Last couple of breaths. Eventually step back to a lunge with your hands on the ground and step into downward facing. 3 breaths there. Be still and just observe the effects of that physical sequence. Then keeping your 2 hips balanced, inhale, raise the left leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot forward. Step the right foot down, feet or hips width. Shorten your stance from a warrior 1 to maybe 2/3 of that distance. Grab your strap if you're going to use it. Bring your hands to your hips. Lead with your chest and inhale to rise. Now, if you're using a strap, hold it in your right hand and dangle the toes behind your back. Wrap the right tricep forward. Draw the shoulder blade down and bend the elbow just behind your head so your right palm lands between your shoulder blades. Perhaps catching hold of your shirt there if you don't have a strap. Reach the left hand underneath from behind, catching the other end of the strap or your shirt, and walk your hands as close together as you can. Firming down through your feet, toes spread, not gripping the mat. Engage your belly and breathe in to lift your chest. Elongate from the chest and exhale, begin to fold. Pausing, square the hips, ground the feet, and lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold another little bit. And just like that, gradually find your range through pyramid pose, where you can maintain the quality of your breath, deep and calm, quality of your spine, long through the neck, shoulders relaxed, and stability through your legs. 2 more breaths. Firming down through both feet, inhale, lift the spine parallel to the floor. Lower the right hand either on the right side of your front foot, or if you want a deeper twist, on the left side of your front foot, and use your left thumb to hook the crease of your left outer hip slightly back to realign your hips as though you could balance a book across the lower back. Breathe in and lengthen the crown of your head forward, draw the shoulders back. Focus the twist at your waistline as you exhale to turn your chest little by little to face your left wall. Perhaps raising the left arm so the left palm faces the left wall. Grab that imaginary strap thrown to you from the sky and see if you can open the left side of your chest and lighten the weight of your right hand. For 2 more breaths here in Parita Trikonasana, revolved triangle pose. Now look at the floor in front of your left foot. Lower your 2 hands 1 foot ahead of your toes on blocks or the floor. Prepare to shift forward into modified warrior 3. Keep balancing the imaginary book across your hips. You could bend the left knee to help. Flex the right foot off the floor. Elongate your chest forward. Look ahead of you on the ground. Breathe in, get a little longer from right heel to crown. Breathe out, find a sense of buoyancy at your navel. From Virabhadrasana 3, lift from your inner right thigh and bow towards your left shin, standing splits. Flexing the right, keep squaring. If you want to play with your balance a little more, you could wrap the left arm around the left calf, perhaps both arms around the calf. Are you smiling? Couple more breaths. Nice. Step the right foot back into a lunge. And let's meet in downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Downward facing dog. Inhale, raise the right leg, squaring the hips. Exhale, set the foot inside of the right hand, warrior 1. Spin the back heel down and rise up slowly. And now this time, let's hold warrior 1 for a few breaths. Firming your outer left heel into the ground, spiral your inner left thigh slightly behind you, drawing the left hip forward to meet the right. With your pelvis upright, through a slight lift of the lower belly, bend your front knee right over the heel. Then bending the elbows apart like the shape of a cactus, slide the shoulder blades down your back. Cross the right elbow over the left, hooking either your thumbs or wrapping your forearms and palms for Garudasana. Keep relaxing the shoulders down as you lengthen your neck, lifting the elbows to the height of your shoulders. Gently press the forearms away from your face, broadening across your upper back. Now shifting more weight into your right foot, feel your center, 2 inches below your belly button, enlivened and engaged. Steady your breathing and steady your eyes on one spot ahead. Begin to turn out your left leg as you wrap it over the right, coming into eagle pose. Bend the right knee, sit a little lower, it will help to balance. Now either flex your left foot outside of your right leg or tuck the toes behind your right calf, the latter in which you'll need to scissor the left hip slightly back to realign the hips to face forward. Now feel the quality of your breathing and how that affects your state of mind. Just a little smile can shift things a bit. Last couple of breaths. We're gonna fly from eagle through warrior 3. We've done warrior 3 already, so you could choose to place your hands on the floor, blocks, or no hands. Begin to unravel the left leg parallel to the floor behind you, squaring the hips as you flex the left foot. Elongate your spine, also parallel to the floor. You could keep eagle arms. You could spread the wings, your wings. You could extend the arms forward as though you're holding a beach ball overhead. That adds more rigor in the back. When you decide to land, We're going to step the ball of the left foot behind you into a lunge and lower the hands to the earth. So take your time, softly transition back to to downward facing dog. Breathe in, open the mouth, side out. One more, drink up, full breath into the belly. Let it out through the mouth, let it go. Close the lips again. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale the foot forward inside of the left hand, spin the right heel down. With feet distance apart, rise up into warrior one. Feel the outer edge of your right heel rooting into the earth as you spiral your inner right thigh slightly to face the back wall. Keeping your pelvic bowl sitting upright with a slight engagement of your lower belly, bend your front knee right on top of the heel. Then cactus bend your elbows apart, slide the shoulders down. Cross the left elbow over the right, either hooking your thumbs or wrapping your forearms in palms. Keep relaxing the shoulders and lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders, gently pressing your forearms away from your face. Steady your breathing like calm ocean waves. Steady your gaze and shift your weight onto your left foot. Turning out your right leg, flex it as you lift it off the floor to wrap over the left. Bend the left knee even more and sit into it to help stabilize your balance. Either flex your right foot outside of the left leg or tuck those toes behind your left calf, scissoring the right hip further back. Feel a connection to the center line of your body here. Can you find a sense of peace that you conjure from within? No matter the external circumstance or the pose or the environment. Envision, as the eagle is a symbol of vision, unraveling through flight in Warrior 3. How are you going to get there? Begin to unravel the right leg, flexing the foot, elongating it back, elongating the torso forward to create a horizontal line. Perhaps you spread your wings. Maybe you reach the arms forward, adding a little more fire in the back. Find a sense of buoyancy through the belly as you did in plank in the beginning. Level out the hips. A few more breaths. We're going to land differently in the standing forward fold at the top of your mat. So when you decide, simply set the right foot next to the left and hinge from your hips. Take a few breaths of any releasing forward fold you choose. Whether you bend the knees and sway the spine, or clasp the hands behind you and open the chest. Perhaps you floated the lips a few times, just feeling the sense of relaxation in the jaw. Bring your feet to touch. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bend the knees and splay them apart as the inner edges of your feet touch. Sink the pelvis back, elongate the torso forward, and either fold like a hybrid pose of child's pose and a squat. Or you could choose to sit down and come into bound angle pose, soles of the feet together. Or if you're feeling a little spicy right now, you can work towards crow pose and arm balance. And if you're up to that spice, place the hands a foot in front of your toes, shoulders width apart, palms flat. Remember how we practiced those yoga push-ups in the beginning? Here it is. We're going to put that into effect. So hollow the belly, lift the hips, bend the elbows back, parallel the arms. Use your upper arms like an elevator for your knees, climbing the knees high up towards the armpits. Look beyond where you want to go on the floor. Use that envisioning forward to help shift your weight forward. Perhaps you catch some hang time with one toe, 2 feet, bring the feet together, or not. Letting go of the expectation of it, but enjoying the ride of it. Follow the belly. Remember that principle of rooting down to rise. Root down through the hands, lift up through the hips. Root down through the knees, lift up through the belly. And when we decide, let's crawl our way back onto all fours. We're gonna give the wrists another stretch. So place your weight back on your legs and make fists out of your hands. Then gently press your fists against each other while leaning the backs of your fists onto the ground. With your elbows flaring apart off the floor, begin to glide forward, finding the amount of intensity you prefer to stretch your outer wrists and forearms. All the while listening to your breathing, calm and balanced. Relaxing the shoulders away from the neck, perhaps gently moving the head. Softening the muscles in your face. And then come back to your legs. So let's take 1 minute to practice an inversion of your choice. It could be downward facing dog, 5 breaths at a time, resting in child's pose. It could be dolphin pose, elbows to the ground, balancing on the forearms, maybe lifting a leg as you square the hips, or both legs, Pincha Mayurasana. It could be headstand. It could be standing in a wide-legged forward fold. That's also going upside down. Any way of shifting your perspective, literally upside down. Save shoulder stand for later. So take your own for 1 minute. Remembering that if you are moving toward kind of headstand, to feel stability through your arms, rooting into the earth, lifting the shoulders so that you're creating a lot of space and lightness in your neck. And it's the very, very top crown of your head meeting the earth to preserve the natural curvature and length of your neck. If both legs are in the air, like eagle pose, bring the sensation of hugging your midline, flexing or pointing your feet. Imagine that strap hanging from the sky, pulling your inner heels up towards the sky. When you are finished with your inversion, keep your head low to the ground. Try not to lift it up to pose for a few breaths. Anywhere you want to place your arms in Balasana, child's pose. From child's pose, slide your arms forward and slither onto your stomach. Legs straight back, lower your right ear onto the mat. Open up your right arm wide to the right with a palm face down. Press the ground away with your left hand beside your left shoulder and begin to roll over gently onto your right hip. Stretching the front of your right shoulder, slide that shoulder head away from your neck. You might go into stepping the left foot behind you, adding more weight, more intensity. Maybe stepping the right foot down and bending the right knee too. Let's be here for 3 more deep breaths. And at the end of your exhale, gently roll onto your stomach through center, gradually switching sides. To lean the left ear towards the earth, slide the left arm straight out to the left with a palm face down, and then pressing the ground away with the right hand, the left hip. Slide the left shoulder away from your neck, and see how this side might need something different from you. Perhaps you keep the feet stacked. Maybe you add a little more intensity and step the right foot behind you and or left foot on the ground too. 3 more breaths. As you exhale, gently roll onto your belly. Press the ground and begin to lift your torso slowly so that you can sit up for a spinal twist. Sitting with your legs in front of you, extend the left leg forward and just to either step the right foot in front of your right hip or to cross it outside of your left knee, in which you might also bend your left knee. Grounding both sitting bones, backstroke your right arm behind you on the floor and raise your left arm. Pressing into the ground with every part of your body touching it, lift up through the spine as you breathe in. At your waistline, exhale, begin a twist to your right, lowering your left arm either on top of your shin or hooking that elbow outside of the thigh. And if the latter, if you feel pretty open in the spine and want to explore binding, you could use your left hand to catch hold of your left knee, broaden the chest and wrap the right arm behind your torso. Maybe the fingers clasp onto the inner left thigh. Keep rooting down as you rise up with each in-breath, hollowing the belly and twisting with each out-breath. Deep inhale, and exhale, unravel your spine. Extend the right leg forward and either step the left foot in front of the hip or outside of your right knee, in which you might also bend your right knee. Backstroke the left hand behind your pelvis and raise your right arm. Press into the ground, sit up taller as you inhale. Twist to your left as you exhale and lower your right arm either on top of your shin or hook the elbow outside of your thigh. Broaden the chest, lift up through the crown and sternum, twisting as you breathe out. Now, if you want to add binding, if the elbow is hooked outside of the thigh, use your right hand to catch hold of your right knee, wrap the left arm behind you, and perhaps the fingers clasp the inside of your right thigh. Reground the pelvis, elongate the spine, softening the shoulders down. Travel the spine and straighten both legs forward for Paschimottanasana. As we begin to fold, you might want to use your strap around the balls of your feet, or imagine pulling two straps from the sky. Flex your feet apart, hips distance, and press your big toe mounts forward. Then root the sitting bone and rebound and lift up through the center of your spine as you relax the shoulders. Then lead with your heart center as you hinge from the hips. Breath holding. Now, if you're holding the imaginary straps, let go of them and catch hold of your legs or clasp your big toes. Find a slight lift in your chest, a buoyancy at the heart center as you elongate the spine and ground the pelvis. 3 more breaths. Floating the heart up slowly, breathe in to rise. So now choose a cooling inversion to practice for a minute. Maybe you have a wall nearby, you could scoot your hips right against it, lower your back onto the floor so your glutes are touching the wall with the legs up the wall. Maybe you're just lifting the legs up, lying on your back. This can be very delicious. Or practicing shoulder stand or plow, as long as you have no neck injuries and you can practice those poses safely. You could also bend the knees. Happy baby works. Cooling pose to lift the legs higher than the heart. You might add the practice of longer exhalations, calming the mind down through counting. You could breathe in for a count of 5, filling up the belly. Breathe out through the mouth, a count of 7. Feeling your last few breaths, gradually make your way down into a comfortable resting position for the last few minutes in Shavasana. As you land there, close your eyes. Allow a moment to scan your physical body from the inside out. Noticing areas that might require intentional softening, permission to let go. Then settle into the surface of the earth, supporting your body. Relax into the natural rhythm of your breath. Now you decide in the remaining 2 minutes whether you'd like to stay in Shavasana as you are, not move, or lift your body up to sit for 2 minutes of meditation and silence. If you're lying down and want to close together, ease your body into movement and gently make your way up to sit. Feeling the support of the earth beneath your body. Join your palms to meet your heart, lifting your heart towards the open sky above. Just as we practice flexibility in our bodies, openness in our breaths, how can we move throughout our day, continuing to expand our perspective, creating through our thoughts and presence? Let's close chanting one Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.